shows that were being played on Pogo, and there were a lot of ear animation, like text animation that revolved around ears. And I don't know if you guys are good at counting as I am. Pogo has the same number of letters as if you're saying any year. Let's say 2000, let's say 2009, 2010. And Pogo has the same number of elements. So we're going to use that. Keep that in your mind. Cool? Let me play the animation again because a lot of you guys are asking. And we'll break down how we approach this. Right? As I said again, once we decided what Pogo stands for, which was playful, everything, every single decision from there on forward, including the design and the animation, led us to these three keywords. Every single decision while you're animating, every single decision while you're designing should always encapsulate all of these three keywords, right? I'll play it again just for you guys again, and then we'll go step by step on how we created this. Give me a second, guys.
Remember Pogo, that channel that gave us Takeshi's Castle, Mr. Bean, Jackie Chan Adventures? It was peak entertainment for every 2000s kid in India. So what actually happened to it? Well, around 2009 and 2010, Pogo started shifting its focus. Instead of international shows, it doubled down on local Indian content, and that's when our lovely Chahita, Chhota Bheem, arrived. At first, it was great. India was creating its own local animation, but over time, Chhota Bheem took over everything. The same movie, the same plot, the same laddu on loop. Behind the scenes, this was actually a business move.
Cool, guys. This is what we'll be. So we took out of that, we took what Pogo meant to us, and that's where it led to, right? So we have like a small point A to point B ready. Now we have to figure out how did we reach point B even? Like how did we make all of these decisions and the right decisions to make the animation look this way? Cool? So let's start with something that's extremely simple. We'll start with, again, by the way, with this animation, you might have noticed that there were a lot of bound balls. Keep this in mind. A lot of colorful blocks. Keep that in mind as well. Right? So, why not just start simple? Why not encapsulate the color and the playfulness of Pogo logo just by a simple dot animation? We bring the dot down. We add that extra bit of push to it. Right? I could have just stopped it here, but I added an extra push. Does anybody in this chat right now know why we did that? Any ideas, guys? Right? We could have stopped it here, right? But we pushed it a little bit. We made it go ahead a little bit, and then it stops. Then it settles into the position that it should be in. Somebody said anticipation. You guys are in the right vein, but you guys are not saying the right word. This is actually follow through. Right? So for some energetic, think about it this way. The ball is extremely energetic. So if something is energetic, it does not just stop on a dime. It pushes a little further. Like when you're punching someone, let's say for example in this scenario you're punching someone, you don't just stop your hand immediately. It settles a little bit. It goes ahead a little bit, and then it settles back into the position where you want it to be. Right? So the first thing that we are doing to add character to our animation, to add that sort of playful and energy to it. Keep this in mind, guys. We are adding playfulness and energy through the overshooting of things, right? Nothing in this animation from now on will ever settle down like ekdam se. It's not going to stop immediately. It's going to push a little bit. It's going to be exaggerated. The motion will be exaggerated a little bit. It'll overshoot, and then it'll settle back. Right? For the bounce effect, yes, but again, we are showing a lot of energy. The keyword here is to show that the ball is very energetic. Nothing in here is gonna stop immediately. Everything from this point forward in this action will have an overshoot. Got it? Let's actually expand it upon a little bit further, right? We want to introduce the Pogo logo here, right? And we want to also transition into the graphical side of things, because that's Ocus's talking head. If there is no transition, it might come across as a little jarring. So why not we add like a very simple circle grow animation that fills the screen with white. But you'll notice one thing, guys. Again, this is where the smaller decisions make your animation better, right? Way before I flash the white color, I flash all of the colors that Pogo is associated with, right? So way before you're looking at the logo, you already know. Subconsciously, it's in your head. You already know we are talking about Pogo, right? So all of these small decisions, again, it is all invisible. You guys would not recognize that doing all of these things is going to elevate your animation so much, but it's such a small thing that the viewer doesn't even recognize is happening to them. Again, it's an invisible job of manipulating the person and keeping them engaged, right? So doing all of these, implying all of these small techniques is going to elevate your design and animation a lot more. It's a small decision that changes a lot. Cool. So again, we show up the colors of Pogo way before the Pogo logo is on screen. So you subconsciously already know we are talking about Pogo, but the Pogo logo is not on screen, right? Let me actually show you guys when the logo comes in on screen. As I said, everything is in this animation is gonna have a little bit of overshoot. Everything is so playful and energetic that nothing is gonna just stop. Things are gonna push, things are gonna have some bounce effects, and that's what we're gonna do, right? And I'll play this again and I'm gonna point out something and you won't be able to ignore it once I start pointing it out. Look at the Pogo animation, right? Think of the blocks. We have already decided that all of the balls that we'll be animating and all of the circular objects that will be bouncing around that we are animating will have energy. But the solid blocks, you would not assume will have that, right? But again, what we are trying to do is to add character to everything that we are working on, right? We want to make everything feel energetic and playful. So nothing is going to stop on a time, yes, but why restrict that to only the object inside the box? Why not the box itself? So you'll notice that the dot pushes the box below and then it settles again. So it almost feels like the ball has so much energy that the box is also being pushed, right? Again, we do all of this just to show that every single element in this animation has energy. And I'm going to show you guys how doing this was extremely simple. Let me actually just show you guys the green dot. Let's talk about this, right? This is animated. What we did at first is animate it all together. This is doable. You'll notice that everything has like this small overshoot. It also settles down. It has like a large amount of time to settle down, so it shows that okay, it's losing energy, right? But it also does not feel that wavy and that energetic that it was feeling earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to delay the frames a little bit, and by delaying the frames, what is going to happen is it's going to make it feel like a second animation is happening, when in fact is not. We just literally move the frames by one, and it actually makes it feel like that the ball is actually controlling the entire box, including the O section as well, and it's pushing it further. We have done nothing except move the frame by one. Again, a small simple decision lead to adding so much character to your animation. Everything should be done with nothing should be random, right? Let me show you guys the entire animation again. Again, all we have done is animated it all at once and then separated it by one frame, right? That includes all of the boxes as well. You'll notice that there is a wavy motion going on. That's mainly because the red one happens first, then the orange one, then the blue one and the green one. Even though it was animated all together, just by delaying it one frame, it adds so much character to the animation. It's crazy, right? Again, make this small decision to elevate your design. Simple. Let's see it with the background transition that we are adding, and you'll notice that it feels a lot more cohesive. Right? Way before the logo is on screen, you all almost immediately know what we are talking about. You know that it's about Pogo, and everything has that feeling of playfulness and has that feeling of energy. Right? Let me go ahead with our animation. I'm going to skip a little bit because I want to talk about something extremely important here. Yes.
That channel that gave us Takeshi's Castle.
Play you guys this bit where he's going to talk about all of the shows that we watched when we were a kid, right? And I'm going to show you two approaches, and I want you guys to tell me why do you like one over the other. Cool?
It was Takeshi's Castle, Mr. Bean, Jackie Chan Adventures. It was peak entertainment for.
So this is what we are working with. Okay, let me switch my slide. And when I was testing out this animation, when I was trying to figure out how the style is gonna look, I decided to go with these two frames, right? And I want you guys to pick the first one or the second one, and we'll discuss why you picked that one. Cool. Which one do you guys think? One or two? Type one or two. Second? People are saying second. But do you guys know why the second one works? I don't know why. Cool. Let me talk about it. That's why I'm here, guys. So you'll notice that in the first one, it's all over the place. It does not feel like Pogo at all. First of all, we have left the style of Pogo because Pogo is a very flat, energetic style and a colorful style. This one feels a lot more monochromatic, even though it's the same colors as Pogo, right? You'll notice that the Takeshi's Castle guy, the contrast there is a little different. The Mr. Bean guy, the contrast is completely off. And the third, the Jackie Chan adventure guy, is not even in the same style as the other two, right? It does not feel cohesive. This is why this is the reason why when you are working on something, a lot of these different styles will actually make your animation not look as premium as you would like it to, right? So for it to be premium, for you to be, again, as I said, for what all of these brands want, what the market essentially wants, is for you to make all of these deliberate decisions on purpose and make things look cohesive, right? In the second one, it feels a lot more cohesive. The styles are all the same, even though it's still matching with the color flow that we have set for. It still has like that splash of saturation there, right? It all feels like it belongs in the same family, and that's what we wanted to do, right? It's simple, it's easy to digest, it's recognizable as well because the characters we are talking about are already extremely recognizable, right? So why add all of this complexity when it does not feel like it's cohesive, when you can just unite all of the design into a single style, and it feels a lot more premium, it feels a lot more stylized, and it feels a lot more inclined towards the brand you are talking about. Got it, guys? Advice if you got it. Awesome. One thing, by the way, pay attention to the style of the characters. You'll notice that the Pogo logo essentially has a lot of balance of curved lines and sharp edges, right? Once I show you the Pogo logo, you'll notice that it has a good balance of like smoother curves and sharper lines. But when we talked about the characters exclusively sharp. Just keep this in mind. I'm going to bring this forward. I'm going to blow your mind by bringing this later. But keep this in mind that the characters are all sharp, whereas everything else in the animation was a good balance of sharp curves and smooth curves, sharp edges and smooth curves, right? Let's see what Okus is talking about after that, so I can talk more about visual storytelling.
Jackie Chan Adventures. It was peak entertainment for every 2000s kid in
Okay,
India.
we want to talk about why it was, we want to show that it was peak entertainment for every 2000s kid. How do we show peak, right? We have three elements going on here. He talked about three characters, we already have three. But I talked about how there was a motif of four going on. Every single thing that he's talking about has the element of four. This one doesn't though. But the way he says peak adds the cadence, right? I'll play it for you again, and what I want you guys to do is to count with me, right? Even though the script does not talk about four elements, the cadence of the way Okus is talking about makes it feel like there are four elements going on. Cool?
Jackie Chan.
Let me start again, so we can count together.
It was Takeshi's Castle, Mr. Bean, Jackie Chan Adventures. It was
Let me try again. I'm sorry, I think I skipped it.
that channel that gave us Takeshi's Castle, Mr. Bean, Jackie Chan Adventures. It was peak entertainment for
Right? The
every
way he
2000.
says peak actually does feel like it's another element on the animation. Now, my question to you guys is, how would you show peak? If you guys had the option to show the word peak in this animation, how would you do it? I want you guys to type in the Q&A. And then you'll realize that doing visual storytelling is just about making the right decisions, right? I want you guys to adding Goku. Okay, I guess, sure. Mount Everest. Okay, that's also a lot of people are saying mountain. Toffee, peak of mountain. Everybody is saying peak. Adding top. Somebody said adding top. Think about it this way, guys. We are doing visual storytelling. The scene you are seeing right now, all of the three dots are elevated to a certain level. That's also why I did not remove the dots completely. Because when he talks about peak, I can make the green dot be above all of the other dots, right? So that's like subconsciously I'm telling you guys about peak. Even if I mute the audio, by the way, you'll still feel that cadence of him talking about the word peak. So we are doing a lot of visual storytelling just by adding a small change, which is elevating the green dot above anything else. And we are showing you guys peak, right? So we literally did visual storytelling. Even if you don't have a narrative, you can still understand it. You can still paint yourself to the video, and that's what we want to do when you're motion graphic design or when we're creating a design in general. Again, invisible thing, but it is subconsciously making the person watch longer or understand it better, right? So adding like just that simple cadence of making that green dot go above everything else makes it feel like we're talking about peak, right? One thing I'm just gonna talk about is something that whenever you're animating, try to create a rhythm and break it constantly, because breaking the pattern keeps the viewers engaged, right? So let me actually show you how I implied it. V1 again, he talks about how it was peak for everyone in the 2000s. I could have just brought all of the dots down and showed the letters to the and the 3 zeros, but we want to break the pattern as well. So what I did was I moved this around. Again, the same principle is being followed. Everything still have the energy. Nothing is sitting still. Everything is moving around. But I have set up this pattern of the red, orange, blue, and green, and I immediately break it. So even though you weren't interested, even if you were interested, now I have more of your attention because I broke the pattern that I set up for myself. Right? Keeping the viewers engaged. Again, doing something different will always grab the viewer's eye, and that's something that you really want to do. Everything, by the way, still has that energy, right? Everything, when the boxes are moving around, it doesn't just stop. There is some settling in going on. Everything overshoots a little bit. Everything has that that extra bit of energy, right? And when the dots fall in, when all of the text also comes in, you'll notice that it still has the energy. The wavy thing is still happening. Again, just by delaying the frames. We have solved all of these problems. We have done so much visual storytelling. We have added so many intricate animations just by doing these small decisions. And believe it or not, guys, doing things intentionally is what is going to elevate your design, right? You need to be conscious about every decision that you make. Talk about the second scene again. We have already set up that the Pogo logo has like a good balance of sharp edges and smooth curves. But every time we are bringing up the character side, we are deliberately, I'm pointing it out that the character design is in sharp. We're going to keep this in mind, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about the second scene where he talks about how for the 2009 and 2010, Pogo decided to shift its focus, right? I'm going to play it, and yeah. Let me actually play you the audio, by the way. You'll notice that there is a weird cadence going on here as well, which we can use as editors and as animators. Okay.
In Jackie Chan Adventures, it was peak entertainment for every 2000s kid in India. So what actually happened to it? Well, around 2009 and 2010, Pogo started shifting its focus. Instead of international shows, it doubled down on local Indian content, and that's when our lovely Chahita Chhota Bheem arrived.
Right, so Okas is talking about how even though it started out with like this varied thing, it started shifting its focus instead of international and to Indian, right? And you'll notice that now, even though we set up this motif of like 4 elements going on, right? 2009, 2010, they both have 4 elements, but now it's reducing to 2. How can we do that, guys? What do you guys think? We have 4 elements on the screen right now. We want to read. How can we do that? Morph. Somebody said morph. Shape morphing, everybody is saying submerging them, dividing them, or very easy. If we remove the 2 of these elements, it's going to be 2. Again, another opportunity for us to add character. So we can just actually remove them, we can make them disappear, we can shrink them, but add character. Every single thing that we are doing, as I said, should be energetic, should be done to make it look playful, right? And everything is already colorful. So we zoom it in, everything comes down. And again, guys, the flow, by the way, that is happening, still the staggered frames. It's all animated at once, just delayed the frame by 1 frame, right? And it makes it feel like the first one is dragging along all of the other ones, when in fact that's not happening at all. It's all one animation which we delayed. Again, making these small decisions is what's gonna elevate your design to a premium level, right? We remove the elements as it zooms in, we remove the text as well, the 1 and 0 goes down. You'll notice that the red dot was everywhere in the logo Pogo reference animation that we took. So we're going to use this again, and we're going to talk about how it was shifting its focus. And guys, I'm going to blow you guys' mind. We literally shift the focus, right? When the dot goes here, the other thing goes out of focus, and when the dot goes here, the orange box goes out of focus. right? So while he's talking about that Pogo was shifting his focus, we literally visually show it as well. And believe it or not, guys, visual storytelling is again what elevates your design, what elevates your animation. Doing this simple, this small, it took me like 5 seconds to do, adding a blur there, right? But it elevates it so much. It's doing this sort of visual storytelling. Again, the person who does not know what is being said, or if he's watching it on mute, will still understand what they're talking about, because we are doing this context, we are passing on the context through visual, right? Through storytelling, I'm telling you guys what the script is saying, right? Again, you have to add all of these things deliberately. Nothing here is random. You have to make sure that every single decision that you make should be done with purpose, right? Again, he talks about how international, and again, we use that ball itself to introduce the characters, where international and Indian, and he talks about how Pogo started shifting its attention towards Indian, right? So that I don't really need the international bit here. Again, we have a chance to again. How can we do that? We make the Indian one, literally push the international one out of the frame. Again, visual storytelling. All we are trying to do, we're talking about, is how the Indian part took over the. Can we add a sniper zoom in this? The simpler zoom would not work with the Pogo logo. Again, we have to add character. The brand guidelines should be followed. Everything is playful and energetic. So every single decision making have that sort of playfulness and energy. Cool. Again, as I said, that Indian, he started focusing its attention towards the Indian side. We literally make the Indian one push the international one out of the screen. Again, visual storytelling. What is being said through the audio is also being shown to you through the visuals. Believe it or not, guys, this small thing you guys did pick up. You guys did feel it. You guys just did not know. Again, all of the every single decision that you're making as a designer, animator, or an editor isn't, but you are in fact in charge of what the person is feeling and where they're looking at. So we have to use that into our advantage and make our animation for like longer watch time, or whatever purpose you were trying to show through that animation, it should be done. Again, I'm going to play the animation, what we have done so far, and I want you guys to focus on everything that I talked about so far, and obviously pay attention to how the character design is sharp, whereas the Pogo logo is a balance of smooth curves and sharp edges.
Remember Pogo, that channel that gave us Takeshi's Castle, Mr. Bean, Jackie Chan Adventures? It was peak entertainment for every 2000s kid in India. So what actually happened to it? Well, around 2009 and 2010, Pogo started shifting its focus. Instead of international shows, it doubled down on local Indian content, and that's when our lovely Chahita, Chhota Bheem, arrived.
Somebody actually said the character are extremely recognizable. Exactly. That's also why we added like the silhouette sort of form to it, because believe it or not, Pogo logo does not have that many detail, as we saw earlier as well. It had too many, when it had too many details, when it had too many styles, it wasn't working at all. Minimal approach worked really well with the Pogo thing. So you need to understand your brand before you start working on anything else. That's also why we decided that what Pogo stands for, right? What Pogo meant to us. Because if we did not decide that, making all of these decisions will be a lot more troublesome, and that's not what we want. By FY, like a quick side note, this was a mistake. Chhota Bheem not being inside the box was a mistake. But again, it was doing that sort of visual storytelling that we talked about, where we talked about how Chhota Bheem did not adhere to the rules and standards that Pogo set, right? So since it's out of the frame and it looks like it's not inside the box, that's actually good for us, because we are trying to show that Chhota Bheem is out of the box, right? Again, it was a happy mistake, but it was kept there on purpose. Again, nothing here is random. You have to think about all of these things deliberately. We are using After Effects, yes, for the people who are asking what software this is. Let's see where the animation goes. And again, as I said, the character style is all sharp edges, and Pogo is a balance of both. And now let's see what he's saying.
When our lovely Chahita, Chhota Bheem, arrived. At first, it was great. India was creating its own local animation, but over time, Chhota Bheem took over everything. The same movie, the same plot, the same laddu on loop. Behind the scenes,
so we're talking about how Chhota Bheem took over everything. You're gonna realize that very easily we can do this visual storytelling. Right? So far, in single scene that we have talked about, We have bright colors, right? The background is simple. Every single sort of main animation is happening in the front, right? Everything is a good balance of sharp edges and smooth curves. And then we go to the last scene where we're talking about how Chota Bheem took over everything. There is not a single smooth curve to be found. Again, intentional thing. We are doing this bit of visual storytelling where, believe it or not, guys, you guys picked it up. You guys felt it. You guys just did not know what was happening to you guys. Again, nothing in this scene has smooth curves because, again, Pogo was a balance, but Chota Bheem took over everything. And the art style that we chose for the characters was sharp edges. So again, even in the Laddus, even in the infinity symbol, nothing here has smooth curves. Everything has sharp edges. The background is dark. The background has a lot of moving elements. It is the exact opposite of what we set up as Pogo to be. Right? And believe it or not, guys, these small decisions, these small deliberate choices is what is going to elevate your design, and it has to come with, again, researching well and doing things with intent. Yes, guys, I want you guys to type Y's in the Q&A if you guys got it. Did you manually create the Chota Bheem shape? Yes, we did. We used Illustrator for it. Let's talk about the intention of it. Let's talk about how the design is working with the animation. Cool? Awesome, you guys got it. So what I'll do is, I'm gonna play it ahead again for the last time, and then we'll discuss what all we learned. And then I have a special surprise for you guys. I have to show you guys something that is extremely cool. I want to show you guys someone who's extremely cool. So before all of that, let me watch the animation again, and we'll talk about what we learned, and we'll meet this amazing person.
Remember Pogo, that channel that gave us Takeshi's Castle, Mr. Bean, Jackie Chan Adventures? It was peak entertainment for every 2000s kid in India. So what actually happened to it? Well, around 2009 and 2010, Pogo started shifting its focus. Instead of international shows, it doubled down on local Indian content, and that's when our lovely Chahita, Chota Bheem, arrived. At first, it was great. India was creating its own local animation, but over time, Chota Bheem took over everything. The same movie, the same plot, the same laddu on loop. Behind the scenes, this was actually
Again,
a business.
With all of these simple decisions, we've elevated the design so much. Again, it's all about making deliberate choices. So let's talk about everything that we have learned, and let me introduce you to someone special. Okay, so we learned intent. We learned that everything that you are doing in this animation should be done with purpose. We talked about a lot of visual storytelling that was also done with intent. The sharp edges, the smooth curves, the background color, the out of focus thing, determining stylistic choice. Again, we had a choice where we were using a lot of these different styles. That was working well at all. We wanted things to look cohesive, so we made deliberate choices where everything felt cohesive. And I was literally controlling where you're looking at and what you were feeling, and that's essentially motion design. So doing all of these things, applying your animation, is gonna elevate your skills a lot more. And to talk about it more, I have someone extremely special. You guys know him, you guys love him. We have Okus.
What's up? Okay, we'll need to share the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, here we go. What's up, everybody? It's been a while. There are some people who might not know who I am, so let me just take a little bit of your time and introduce. My name is Sheesh Prajpay. Some of you guys might know me as my internet alias, Papa Okus. I'm the co-founder of AV and Apool, and what we've done in the last 3 years is really elevate the game for creative individuals in the country. One of the things that I do on the back end, which I'm really proud of, is run a school where we bring in creative people, and then we help them get jobs in international markets, in Indian markets, with billion-dollar companies, with top creators, with venture capitalists, with people who run IPL, and all of your crazy companies. These guys get access to them through our program, and that